I was sentenced long before anyone noticed I was guilty. In the hive where I lived, guilt was assumed by default. Innocence was even the hymns seemed to draw back as if embarrassed. And in that hollowed-out silence, something leaned closer. Look again. The words were not heard. The ledger from the night before sat on my desk, a small red seal affixed to its corner indicating it was overdue. My name glared. Understanding is a seductive word. It sounds harmless, even virtuous, especially to those raised beneath the banners of order and compliance. The Imperium praised understanding when it meant memorizing doctrine, reciting catechisms, aligning one's thoughts with approved interpretations. Something was pruning inconsistencies. I began to dread seeing my own name. Sleep grew difficult. When I did sleep, the dreams returned with greater intensity. By the time the augmetic-eyed supervisor vanished from the roster, I was no longer surprised. His name dissolved into a footnote, then into nothing. I felt a hollow relief, followed immediately by terror. I was visible now, not to my peers, but to something far older and far more attentive. They came for me quietly, which is how the Imperium always comes for those it truly fears. There were no sirens, no booted procession echoing down the aisles of Sub-Archive Theta 7. No Vox announcement crackling through the lumen speakers, declaring my guilt to the hive. I say he because the shape was human, but even then I knew the word was insufficient. He was tall, impossibly so, his form wrapped in layered robes stitched with sigils that hurt to perceive. His face was uncovered, lined and severe, eyes like polished stones set deep in his skull. Only understanding. The pressure in my skull built with each denial. I felt fingers probing my thoughts, invasive and cold, dragging memories to the surface like organs pulled from an open body. Theta 7. The ledger, the heat, the whisper stirred, faintly at first, a distant echo. The chains around my wrists glowed red-hot, then cracked. Stones split, the ward shattered like glass. I collapsed to the floor, gasping free. The tall man staggered back, clutching his head. Blood streamed from his nose as he stared at me in horror. "What are you?" he whispered. I did not answer. Freedom did not feel like liberation. It felt like exposure. When I emerged from the burning prison complex, the hive did not greet me as a survivor or a fugitive. It did not react at all. We traveled through maintenance tunnels and half-flooded corridors, descending deeper than I had ever gone willingly. The air grew warmer, wetter, alive with the thrum of distant machinery that should not still have power. Would you return to the ledgers? To a life of counting decay until you were forgotten? The whisper surged, images flooding my mind, the suffocating dust, the endless repetition, the quiet terror of insignificance. I said nothing. My mentor's voice softened. A power comes quickly to those who listen. The first change announced itself as an inconvenience, a stiffness in my fingers when I woke, as though I had slept gripping iron bars. I flexed them slowly, expecting the sensation to fade. "You are shedding redundancy," they said at last. "The body you were born with was designed for obedience and labor. It is not suited to what you channel. So I'm being upgraded?" I snapped bitterly. They shook their head. "No, you are being translated." The word echoed unpleasantly in my skull. Stop moving forward, and the pressure would crush me. That night, I made a choice. I stopped hiding the changes. I carved seals directly into my skin, incorporating the mutations into deliberate symbology. I adjusted my robes to accommodate altered joints rather than restrain them. War did not arrive as a declaration. It never does. There was no formal summons, no trumpet blast or vox proclamation announcing that I was now a weapon. I realized then with sick clarity that I was no longer aiming. I was expressing. Another gesture, half-formed, instinctive, and the ground beneath a squad liquefied, sown flowing like slurry. I could not close my eyes without seeing impossible angles, hearing bones snap like kindling. My body shook uncontrollably. My joints ached with a deep structural pain, as if they had been used in ways they were never meant to be. The whisper did not comfort me. "This is correct," it said simply. Understanding arrived too late to be useful. That is the final cruelty of it. The Imperium delays knowledge to enforce obedience, but they delayed understanding to ensure consent. Tailored. When I complied fully, when I allowed the patrons to act through me without hesitation, the pain receded. In its place came a flood of sensations so intense it bordered on annihilation. Purpose, alignment, the intoxicating certainty of being correct. I existed because I was efficient, because I translated hunger into action, because I no longer wasted energy on hesitation, guilt, or selfhood. I was being emptied carefully, deliberately, until only function remained. I do not remember when I stopped dreaming. Sleep still comes, my body still collapses into periods of inactivity, muscles slack, breath shallow. But there are no dreams anymore. No spirals, no screaming geometry, no visions of ledgers or battlefields or burning shrines. The distinction is administrative, not ethical. Outcomes are assessed in terms of yield, not righteousness. On battlefields, soldiers still pray when they see me. Some beg, some exult, some fall silent, struck dumb by the pressure of proximity. Their faith washes over me like static.